In his book, The Right to Remain Innocent, James Duane explains that there are several reasons why you shouldn't, I guess, there are several reasons why you shouldn't speak to the police regarding just certain situations. Um, and he lists them throughout the book as you continue reading. One of the main reasons being that, the police are only human and that they are subject to what is known as a confirmation bias because they try to affirm that they are correct in situations and don't want to falsely accuse people of like crimes. But obviously, everybody makes mistakes, and the police are no higher than that in that sort of sense. They're subject to the same sort of mistakes that everyday people make. So that's one reason why. Another reason why he says to kind of like advise against speaking to police officers is because police officers tend to try and get like try to get some sort of evidence out of you, like that may help incriminate you. And he says that it's just good to avoid conversations with police officers that are unnecessary because they are able to take that into consideration moving forward with whatever investigation they're going through, or if they're trying to look for answers to a crime that's been committed, and several other reasons. I think in the book there is an instance where I can't remember her name, but her son, I think her name was like NGA Trong. Her son had suffocated. It was just a newborn child, and he suffocated to death. And she was devastated over his death and unwillingly was asked by the police to go into questioning, and they ended up interrogating her for a couple of hours, and it was pretty brutal. And she ended up getting, I think she served 3 years before she was finally admitted of her charges because there was not enough evidence to support the claim that the officers were making and why she ultimately went to jail. There is another instance where I believe it was a young man by the name of James Purdue that he was involved in a bank robbery, and he was the getaway driver, and he admitted to being the getaway driver, but he was trying to rest his case that he hadn't committed any further crime other than that. And the police officers ended up, or the FBI agent he spoke to ended up saying that he was committing, he was admitting to the crime that he committed, and the more involvement with the bank robbery than what he actually just what he told the agent, that he was just a getaway driver. But ultimately, I think James Duane just wants us to understand that the book, and the book's there for us, and it's not in any case that we should take for granted the kindness and like purity of other people, especially like the police with us. But I think it's important to consider that his main piece of advice that we try to take away from the book is that no matter what, if a police officer does approach you and you do have to speak to him, to say as little as possible and to say stuff that would not incriminate you in any sort of way. Just overall thoughts on the book. I thought it was a really, really good book. It was really easy to read, and I thought a lot of what he said was very useful, because I feel today even we see that a lot, that people are falsely accused every day for certain crimes and actions they did not commit, or maybe that they did commit, but maybe not to the extreme length that the officers are testifying, or writing their police report down about it. But he, I think, is a very insightful man, and I think writing this book and presenting it and going, countrywide to, explain everything that he has written down is really useful for just people that are unaware of, certain things that officers do to try and incriminate people. And at the end of the day, it's something that I'm going to carry with me for a while, and just having in the back of my mind, because I would never want to get put into that situation, just like I don't think anybody else really would as well. But I think the book has taught me just to be smart and be insightful, and to only think about yourself when it comes to talking to the police. And you have to look out for yourself first and foremost, rather than actually providing them just things that they would want to hear in order to admit you or admit you of a crime. So with that being said, thank you for listening to my presentation, and happy holidays.